Hi, it's Bernie Slavin here. Thanks for joining me on my new YouTube channel. And thanks to Group Industrial UK Limited for sponsoring it. Very much appreciated. I'm going to show a couple of past clips, excuse me, from over the years. I remember travelling to Newcastle to interview Alan Shearer. So Bobby Robson was the manager at the time. And I remember going out and I think it was Bradford to Chris Kamara's home. Both had great careers. I mean, Chris Kamara, I got to know Chris, obviously I'd heard of him, but I'd never met him, but he came on loan, I think it was 92-93 season. I think he played about 5 games, but he came on loan. Great guy, super fit, great professional. And then I ended up, when my career's finished, I ended up going to Singapore and Hong Kong, along with Chairman Steve Gibson, playing a couple of five-a-side games. Alan Shearer, I interviewed him just before one of the derby games against Middlesbrough. And Alan Shearer, you know, I think there is guys like Rooney and Bobby Charlton get more goals than him, but he never played the same amount of games as him. But as in club striker, Alan Shearer is arguably the greatest of all time. Unbelievable, you know, strong as an ox, not super quick, but strong as an ox, aggressive, hit rocket, scored all different types of goals. And it's great to see that both have did brilliantly on the TV. I mean, I look at TV now and I think some of the names are there. Well, I know that a lot of people are in media, television, radio, papers, not because they're good or were good, because they tick a box, which is sad really, but that's the modern world for you. But Alan Shearer and Chris Kamara both have had careers in the media because they deserve it. They're great professionals, smashing players, and yeah, so sit back and enjoy. As I say, it was several years back, but I just delved into the archives. Chris, born in Middlesbrough, what's your memories of Essen Park?
Oh, fantastic memories. I used to wear one of those builder's helmets, you know, with Chadwick, O'Rourke, McMordy, Hickton.
Yeah.
And I used to go to the matches. It was great days. And I was obviously, I was in the boys then when they got promotion from the old third division. The wall collapsed. And found myself in the Deer part.
you went to school with Borough Chairman Steve Gibson.
I did, yes.
What was it like back then?
Useless.
Yeah, I know.
Playing football.
Yeah. What was it like as a person?
He was a good lad. Obviously, we were kids. We were brought up together. We lived on the same estate. And at night time, we'd go out and we'd play with a tennis ball between the signposts. It was in those days. They used to have these signposts that they stick in the grass. Do they still do it now? I'm not sure.
No, they don't.
But these signposts, and so we used to play football again in them. So we had a little crew. There was me and Michael O'Neill, Dennis Newsom. That was mainly the boys that used to hang about together. I went to Portsmouth, and every summer I used to come home and spend the whole time in Middlesbrough. So we'd go out, but Steve became absent from the scene, and it was about a week before I was due to go back to Portsmouth. I see him in this sports car, a little MG it was, and he was just about to become a councillor, Labour councillor for Park End, Steve had. So I saw him then, and I said, what's all this about? He went, I'm heavily into politics, and I'm going to be successful, I'm going to do this, and one day I'll be a millionaire, and I'll be chairman of Middlesbrough Football Club. And I went, yeah, all right.
But did he actually
sort of thing? He did, yeah.
Had a short spell at Middlesbrough under Lenny Lawrence in '93 season. Did you enjoy it? And was it always an ambition to pull on the red shirt for Borough?
Well, Middlesbrough took so long to get back to the big time. I thought, well, I'm not having any of that. I'll make sure I get them relegated. But it was an ambition of mine. When I played as a schoolboy, I played at Beechwood on a Sunday morning and Saturday morning. So Leeds were the team of the 70s then, and you just, when you're a kid, they're just untouchable. Like, you know, a lot of the kids who support, say, Halifax Town in the third division will look at Manchester United as being everything. That's the way you looked at Leeds in those days. So obviously Middlesbrough was my hometown club, and that was the team I supported. But I dreamt of playing for Leeds, and I was fortunate enough to play for both. But playing in front of the Aldgate end on my debut against Nottingham Forest was great. We lost the game, unfortunately. Forest were too good for us on the day. But it was, you know, a great memory.
I blame you for that defeat.
Did you play as well?
I played, yeah. Well, I was there.
You missed 3 goals, I think.
You had to go at management with Bradford. How did you enjoy it? You know, what did you learn? You must have learned a few things.
I did enjoy it. Unfortunately, I fell out with the chairman, which was unfortunately, I wanted to do things my own way. I built virtually the team that got promotion to the Premiership. There's only two players added by Paul Jewell. The rest were all the players that I brought into the club. So it's always pleasing, yeah, and I did enjoy it. Mark Schwarzer, I bought him for £150,000. I sold him to Middlesbrough for £1.5 million, plus a few bits and pieces on games. So yeah, you know, I know I can do the job, but it was a lovely experience, and one which I would say, now that I'm out of the game, looking back, it was valuable for what I'm doing now.
So how would you assess Middlesbrough's start to the season?
Well, they had a good start, there's no doubt about that. When Boxit scored at Coventry and could have had a hat-trick at Coventry, you looked at them and then thought, right, they're going to kick on this season. They look as if they've made some decent signings, Carambo, Noel Whelan. But I think the problem that Robson's had throughout the whole time that he's been at Middlesbrough Football Club is he's never ever been able to put the same team out for 3 games on the trot, or his best team out for 3 games on the trot. And whether that's to do with signing older players or players who suffer from injuries, it may well be, or it may be just the fact that he's unlucky. And it's a difficult one, it really, really is. Steve Gibson said to me that progress, it's all about progress for Middlesbrough Football Club. At the end of the day, he's done his best for the town. He's pumped up a lot of money into that football club. He's got a fantastic training ground. He's got a fantastic ground. He's given the manager 100% backing. He doesn't question that. So he feels that the supporters shouldn't question that until it becomes evident that Middlesbrough is no longer progressing as a football club. And then I think the decision probably wouldn't have to be made by Steve. Brian would probably make the decision himself and leave.
Alan, has joined Blackburn Rovers and win the Premier League against all the odds. Has that been a highlight so far at club level?
Yeah, I would have to say, yeah. I think you're in the game to win things, to be as successful as you can. I got a little bit of stick when I went to Blackburn because people said, well, they have no chance of winning the league, and we could achieve things, and we finished 4th in our first year, 2nd in our second, and in the 3rd year we won it. So it was a very successful period for us and great times at Blackburn.
Leaving Blackburn, there was a host of clubs wanting your signature, including Manchester United. You opted for Newcastle. Any regrets?
I've always wanted to play here. I've always wanted to play at St James's Park as a team I supported. I wanted to wear that number 9 shirt, and I've done all those things. The only thing that is missing is probably the most important thing, which is winning things. But I wouldn't change anything that's happened. I'm happy here. My family's happy here, and in life that has to happen.
Looking at the England setup, how much did you enjoy Euro '96?
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of my career. I think some of the best football out of England have played came in Euro '96, especially against the Dutch on that night at Wembley. Yeah. I've never known a better atmosphere for an England game at Wembley than that. We started the tournament slowly with a draw against Switzerland, and then we beat Scotland, beat Holland, and it just got better and better. I mean, we should have won that tournament. There's no doubt about that, really, and that's obviously a regret looking back. But we gave our all, and when that happens, you can't ask any more. 63
caps, 30 goals to your credit. What's been a highlight? We obviously mentioned Euro '96. What other highlights?
Yeah, the biggest thing that will happen to me in my career, whatever happens from now on in, it'll be being named England captain. It doesn't get any bigger or better than that. Nothing will beat that.
You're a hero to a lot of youngsters. Who was your boyhood hero?
Kevin Keegan was mine. He was playing for Newcastle when I started to go and watch them. Used to turn up at the Gallagher end in the early morning and queue up like everyone else and watch the games, and used to enjoy him.
How big a shock was Kevin Keegan's resignation?
It was a big shock. I think no one expected it to happen, but I think I knew something was up once we found out the chief executive and the chairman of the committee were actually in the dressing room, because that doesn't often happen. But I think on the other hand, you have to admire his honesty and bravery for coming out and saying what he actually did. There'd have been a lot of people who would have been happy to sit on a contract and take their money and wait to be fired. But Kevin stood up there and made a decision, and that's what you see with Kevin is what you get. And if you like that, great. If you don't, then that's hard lines, and that's one of the things why I admire him for.
If you had a choice, who would you pick? Would you go with what the fans are saying, Terry Venables?
Well, I think he's a fantastic coach. He's a great motivator. He gets the players going. He has everyone on his side. he can handle the press, I think, which is very, very important at that level. Me personally, I would like to stay with an Englishman. I think I'm very patriotic, and to see a foreign coach running our national side, I don't think it would seem right.
Would you class Alec Ferguson as a foreigner?
Yes, you have to. But I think Terry Venables would be a great choice. Whether the FA would go for him or not, I don't know.
Do you fancy management one day? There's been a lot of talk in the last year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll answer your question and say I would like to stay in the game in some capacity, because football's all I know, and I would like to give it a shot one day. And if I'm good at it, great. If I'm not, then at least I'd give it a shot. But it does interest me one day, yeah. But I've hopefully got a few years left playing yet.
You've got an image of being sort of a dour, some people regard you as boring. What's the real Shearer like? Because I think this is in front of the cameras.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes you have to be, because you have to be very careful in what you say, and especially in my position. There's always going to be someone who is going to turn things around and try to make you look foolish. Yeah. So you always have to be careful in what you say and portray that right image. But there is a different side to me, yeah.
Did you learn a bit of that off Kenny Dalglish?
Yeah, I think I learned a lot off Kenny. I mean, I met up with Kenny at an early age in football, really 21, 20. So I picked a lot up off him, yeah. Probably one of my interview techniques is learned off him as well.
You play against Middlesbrough on Monday night. How much does a derby game mean to a local lad like yourself?
Oh, they're great occasions to play. I mean, the atmosphere and the crowd, and it's people are starting to talk about the game in weeks in advance, really, which is a sign of the derby coming up, really, especially here in the northeast. It doesn't get much bigger or better, I don't think, than the derbies up here. But we come into the game full of confidence because of our game we had against Man City. We took 3 points from that game and played really well and should have won by a bigger margin. So we'll go into the game looking forward to it, and I don't see any reason why we can't come away with 3 points.
You're not laughing.
I'm laughing, I do.
Alan Shearer! Vinnie Jones has gone on to make his name on the big screen. After your advert for the burgers, are you going to head for Hollywood as well?
I don't think so. Maybe for a holiday, that's all. The time I'll get there.
Well, all the best on Monday. I hope you score, but I hope you get a good hide.
I was waiting for that.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you very much.